Welcome to the Leaders Lens Show. It's your boy Ray White. Excited to talk to you all about what leadership looks like for the middle out as a middle manager myself, and helping guide you as a middle manager as well. Guide, lead, support, strengthen your organization and your teams through your leadership. And me and my dog Rogue here, super excited to talk to y'all today. How important it is for you in your leadership in the middle as a middle manager, align the strategies that are happening across your organization to the work that your team is doing. And I don't even like the fact that I did those hand motions, right? Where it's like high and low, because it's not the point. The point is you as a middle manager are truly in the middle and helping connect those two dots for your teams to be successful and the organizational mission to be achieved. And I found this early on in my leadership as I stepped into middle management, understanding how confused or the miscommunication or the wrong work or the not the right work or the right priority work was happening on the teams and didn't really align with what the organization was strategically going towards. And I sat there, I scratched my head, I'm like, how come y'all don't know this? Like, who's supposed to be the one to articulate this to you all? And then I look in the mirror. I be like, oh snap, that's me. I got to be the one to understand these strategies, understand this work, understand how we could strategically put ourselves in a position to be effective in the work that we do. And I often bring in athletic experiences to this space because I see a lot of parallels between the way that I played sports and the sports world itself and leadership within the corporate space. And when I stepped into coaching sports, I had to understand that like the head coach has a vision of what the team needs to be. And as a position coach and wide receivers more particularly, I have a role to play to get the wide receivers ready to go for that goal. And that required me to watch the film, to be close to the head coach, to understand the offensive schemes, to understand the type of plays that we are running, and understand what defenses are going to be in position to do so that I can get the wide receiver who would normally be in a particular offensive set or out on the field, get them ready to anticipate and understand what's going to happen. And I couldn't just be like, all right, number 82, run that route. And then I understand like what the route is, why we're running that route, how to run that route well, what that route's going to do in certain situations, how to run that route from if you were 15 yards in from the end zone or on the other side of the field, like, or just, I get excited. Let me take a step back. These are the elements that I had to really distill down and articulate well so the team could be successful. And it goes exactly the same way within the workspace. I have to be able to navigate and find the strategies, understand the mission, understand the vision, understand what's going on. And then I also have to understand how our team plays a role in helping make that work and be that bridge and be that connection point as well. We as middle managers have to do that additional work or make that a part of our work to step in, to be that bridge, to help communicate and execute that effort to make sure that the work gets done, the priorities are focused, and the strategy gets accomplished. So as we are connecting the dots, the people, the leaders, the team itself will take pride in that work, right? We all want to do great work. We all want to make sure that what we are contributing is of value to the organization. There's very little people who are in your workspace who is just like, I don't really care, right? And that's quiet quitting. We got to talk about that another day. But as we are helping connect the dots, people can see how their work is contributing to the greater goal and greater good, and their skill sets, talents, gifts are aiding to that. And people like that. We like to feel included in a part of the bigger network and the bigger work, and we can help guide that to get to that point. So the 3 ways that I found this being effective is, number 1, continue to discuss your goals regularly. Continue to assess the organizational goals, the department goals, the market goals, whatever that may be. Communicate that vision frequently and often. I don't know if this stat's true, but I heard somewhere on the internet that people need to hear things 7 times in 7 different ways. You could writing, verbalizing, seeing it, in a memo, whatever, on their stat sheet, whatever. Communicating that vision on a regular basis helps people to understand why they're here and what and the work there is contributing to. And That is your job to communicate that on a regular basis. And oftentimes you'll be communicating it so much that you'll get tired of hearing it. But sometimes if you say it over and over again, it's going to click for people to understand it and they'll be able to say it back to themselves, right? I do that with my kids all the time. I might be saying the things over and over again about how I want them to show up and be contributing members of society. I feel like I'm repeating myself often, but I'm learning I need to. So that way they remind it and understand that. And that reminding allows you the ability to reach into you, to stick to your brain, to stick to the neural pathways or what have you. So you are able to then do the behaviors and actions that are related to that work, right? So as a goal, your job is to regularly communicate the organizational vision and mission so people could be aligned and understand what that next step is going to be and how that work contributes. The next thing is you got to be able to communicate the bigger picture at work. This is the tactics associated with the work that you are doing. You got to be able to communicate often that their work matters and it means something to the greater good. And sometimes that allow that one of those one-on-ones or team meetings where there are some minute things that may not necessarily play a big role in the overall strategy, but you got to understand and work through that and then help be that person to say, you know what, that is truly important and that can be taken into consideration as we reach that goal. Or say, you know what, while I appreciate that this is a area of concern, let's look at it from a different perspective, a different lens, and see if that still helps us achieve our overall goal. That every tactic that you do needs to be intentionally aligned to help reach that overall vision and strategy. Because if you don't do that, then you're just doing busy work. You're just doing work that has no contributing elements to the organization, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to just do work just to do work. We got running jokes on our team that we got certain activities that we do that has no value to the organization, but the taking the time to process what value added type work looks like and what is not, and then be able to play that dance on a regular basis helps as you're communicating the vision so people can then see for themselves, okay, does this task actually help me get to the end goal? And if it doesn't, then I can not do that task anymore. Or if it does, how do I make sure that's a part of what I'm doing and communicating in a line towards the end result? So communicate the bigger picture of the work is the work that you can do so people can see how their task is showing up in that space. And then the last thing, continue to bring visibility of the work that's happening. Bring visibility helps in making sure that your team feels connected and aligned to the work. You are not just asking them to be in the dark corner, or you're not just doing some secret side projects over here. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, here's a new work effort. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was working on that. Or I thought I was contributing to that, but it wasn't. Visual and visualizing the work on a regular basis in team huddles, in strategic conversations, allows people to see why this work matters and how it plays in a bigger role. So you got to talk about your goals regularly. You got to continue to communicate the big picture, and then you got to be able to make that visible, the work that they're doing and the work the org needs to get done, and allow that to be a part of your regular basis. As a leader, I work to do that daily. I work to study those things daily and work to communicate that daily through the huddles, through the one-on-ones, through the strategic conversations that we have in organization, and be able to be that person to help filter what does contribute to or help bring that out and help them tell me what needs to be contributed to the overall goal. And that creates that connection and alignment for the team to be successful. So create those lines, create that visibility, communicate that effectively and often, and be the one to study what that looks like so you can effectively lead your team well through this effort, and watch how much pride you all will have and how much work will get accelerated because people are working on the right things, they're doing the right things, and they are effectively stepping into that with success. So how are you aligning your team's work with the organizational strategy? How are you understanding the strategy and communicating that well to your teams? These are the elements and the questions that we have to ask ourselves on a regular basis. If you like this episode, if you're a middle manager, mid-level leader who is desiring more of these types of tips and tricks, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what kind of conversations we want to have or perspectives that we want to reflect to help shape our lens in the way that we lead. And speaking of shaping our lens, the Leaders Lens newsletter is just for you as well. you're not yet subscribed to that newsletter where we talk about this and other strategies and other resources to help you as a mid-level leader be successful in your work and lead your teams well and effectively, subscribe to the Leaders Lens newsletter, subscribe to this podcast. Let me know what you think. Follow me at Ray Devante and the Leaders_Lens on Instagram. And I'm happy to talk more about all this as well. Be a leader worth following. Continue to lead well. And I'll talk to y'all soon.